Hello everyone, and welcome to Cineverse. Today, we're diving into the eerie world of the Mortuary Collection, a horror fantasy film released in 2019. This movie is packed with chilling tales and unsettling twists, making it one of the most spine-tingling films we've covered. We've explored many complex and creepy movies before, but this one stands out with its unique storytelling and terrifying surprises. So, brace yourselves as we unravel its haunting secrets. Let's get started. A young kid arrives on the scene at the start of the film, distributing newspapers in a town. There is also a funeral home in that town. The child notices that no one has collected the newspaper lying outside the funeral home. Then the child moves closer to inspect the funeral home, taking his camera. Upon arriving, he takes a photo where he sees someone's eyes. Suddenly, a man appears before the child from the funeral home. The name of this man is Dark. Frightened, the child flees without taking his camera. Afterwards, Dark puts the camera in a box that is already stuffed with various belongings of others, items left behind by those who had previously visited. Next, Dark is seen officiating the funeral of a child. After the funeral, a girl named Sam appears. She has actually come there for a job because Dark had displayed a job wanted poster. Sam then observes the mysterious collection inside the funeral home. Among the collection, there are several books that immediately capture her attention, and she finds them inspiring. Dark tells her that these books contain the tales of the dead. Sam requests, "Tell me some stories," and all the stories should be horror and fascinating. Following this, Dark begins telling the first story. This story takes place in the 1950s, where a girl is seen moving towards the lavatory during a party celebration. As she switches on the light, a peculiar liquid sticks to her. Here, it is revealed that the girl is actually a thief. She had gone to the lavatory under a false pretense. She had stolen the wallets of many guests at the party. She discards the wallets while keeping the money for herself. Additionally, she steals someone's precious wristwatch. Then, she hears a noise coming from a cabinet. She tries hard to open the door, and after some effort, it finally opens. However, as soon as the door opens, she is horrified. A terrifying monster with tentacles has been imprisoned inside the cupboard, desperately trying to escape. Terrified, the girl quickly locks the cupboard door. She then begins to leave, strolling away cautiously. Suddenly, she accidentally drops the stolen wristwatch. A loud noise is created due to the falling wristwatch. The tentacled monster hears the noise and escapes from the cupboard. It grabs the girl and drags her inside with it, extinguishing the lights in the process. Here, the first story ends. Sam comments that the story was average and not highly praiseworthy, because she did not find it particularly frightening. She tells Dark, "I want to hear a scarier story." Before proceeding, Dark asks Sam to sign an agreement. Later, the funeral home is visited again. Then, Dark begins telling the second story. This story takes place in the year 1960, which is 10 years after the previous one. A boy is shown meeting a girl, and after a conversation, they quickly become friends. They spend a lot of time together. The next day, when the boy wakes up, he notices rashes on his body. Concerned, he visits a doctor for treatment. While examining him, the doctor hears a strange sound coming from the boy's abdomen. The most shocking part is revealed in the medical report. The boy is pregnant. As he returns home, his abdomen begins to swell. He shares his situation with a friend over the phone, and then rushes to confront the same girl. Reaching her house, he angrily shouts, "You are responsible for this. Look at what I'm going through." Suddenly, he starts feeling severe pain, and his skin begins to look abnormal. In an instant, his abdomen bursts open. As a result, he loses his life. However, a monstrous baby is born at the moment of his death. The girl's mother then takes the monster baby and locks it in a room where several other monster babies are already kept. This story seems fascinating and flawless to Sam, because it is both exciting and filled with intense critical elements. After this, Dark leads Sam to the cellar, where he shows her the dead body of a girl. He then begins to tell her the story of this same girl. This story is set in the year 1970, meaning it takes place 10 years after the previous one. It revolves around a married couple who were once happy together. The husband deeply loved his wife. However, shortly after their marriage, the wife developed a mental disorder. Her husband tried his best to cure her, taking great care of her, but she showed no signs of recovery. This caused him immense distress, and he became deeply troubled. One night, he has a candlelight dinner with his wife in hopes of aiding her recovery. However, his wife neither speaks nor eats anything. She had even stopped reacting altogether. During the dinner, the husband gifts her a sculpture. He also gives her an overdose of medication, as suggested by the doctor. He wanted to free his wife from her agonizing life. Although he did not want to go through with it, he felt he had no other choice. Suddenly, his wife's hand starts to move, and she grabs his hand. Shocked, he immediately tries to make her vomit, fearing she might die from the overdose. In the process, her head accidentally strikes the table. As a result, the sculpture in front of her is thrust into her head, killing her instantly. Seeing this, the husband quickly calls the doctor and explains everything about his wife's sudden movement and death. The doctor tells him, "Do something with your wife's dead body," implying that he should dispose of it. Following the doctor's advice, the husband places his wife's body inside a box. However, her feet do not fit due to the box's small size. So, he dismembers both of her feet and places them inside the box as well. As he prepares to leave, he takes the box and enters the elevator. Suddenly, the elevator stops, and blood begins to leak from the box. Within moments, the entire elevator is filled with blood. The husband is terrified and desperately tries to unlock the elevator door to escape. Just then, a neighbor arrives and notices the situation. She calls the police to help the man and get him out of the elevator. Soon, the elevator starts moving downward again. As the man looks outside, he begins recalling all the moments he spent with his wife. Suddenly, the box unlocks, and his wife's demonic form emerges from it, approaching him. However, it is revealed that this was merely a hallucination. Nothing was actually happening. It was all a result of the man's trauma, caused by his hypertension. When the police arrived, they discovered the box containing the dead body. As a result, the man was sent to a psychiatric hospital. Sam finds this story interesting and tells Dark, "All your stories are fascinating and fabulous. Above all, they are didactic. It means, as you sow, so shall you reap." After this, Dark leads Sam to the sub-basement. There, Sam opens up about herself to Dark. She confesses, "I did not come here to apply for a job. I came here for the child placed in the coffin, the one who recently died." She admits that she is responsible for the child's death and begins to share her story. "I was the caretaker of this child," she explains. That day, the child's parents were not home. They had left a voicemail for Sam, telling her she could cook anything if she felt hungry. As she was cooking meat for herself, a news report aired on TV, announcing that several patients had escaped from a psychiatric hospital. Just then, Sam noticed a wounded man inside the house. She helped him, but after hearing the news, she began to suspect that he might be one of the escaped patients. In fear, she grabbed his hand and crushed it inside an electric meat grinder. A fierce fight broke out between them. During the struggle, Sam lost consciousness. The man then started moving toward the child's room. When Sam regained consciousness, she rushed to the child's room, where another fight ensued. During the brawl, the man fell down the stairs. Approaching him, Sam taunted, "You lunatic! You ruined my dinner." With that, she dropped a TV onto his head, crushing it completely. Sometime later, the child's parents arrived home. They were shocked to see the horrifying scene. Panic set in as they recognized the dead man. It was their child's warden. At that moment, they realized something even more terrifying. Sam was not their child's caretaker at all. She was, in fact, one of the escaped psychiatric patients. Their fear intensified when they noticed their child was missing. They searched frantically, but found no sign of him. Then, they opened the oven, only to be left utterly speechless. Inside, they saw the horrifying truth. Sam had been cooking their child's meat. It was then revealed that Sam was actually a serial killer. Not only was she mentally unstable, but she was also a cannibal. She used to capture children, dissect them, and eat them. After killing them, she would keep one tooth from each as a memory. However, she had been unable to take a tooth from that child, which is why she had come to this funeral home, to retrieve it. At that moment, Sam suddenly stabbed Dark with a knife, but Dark only laughed. The most surprising thing was that there was no blood where the knife had pierced. Instead, a thick, sticky liquid oozed from the wound. Terrified, Sam tried to flee, but she was now trapped inside the funeral home. No matter how hard she tried to escape, it was all in vain. It was as if the funeral home had transformed into a maze. This was no coincidence. Dark had done it. Desperate, Sam ran into a library. There, Dark taunted her, "My daughter, this is just the beginning. Just wait and see what happens next." Saying this, Dark knocked over some books. Inside them were the stories of the children Sam had mutilated. Innocent children who had done nothing wrong. Suddenly, the spirits of those children emerged from the books. Their demonic forms surrounded Sam, capturing her before they began to devour her. After this, Dark infused the same thick, sticky liquid into Sam's body. Then, he stitched her body back together. Once he was done, Dark left the funeral home. Stepping outside, he vanished into ashes. It was then revealed that Dark was never human. He was a demon. Back inside, Sam suddenly awakened in the funeral home. This meant that she was now destined to run the funeral home, continuing Dark's eerie collection. The scene then shifted back to the present. Sam was telling this very story to the child who had been seen at the beginning of the movie, the one delivering newspapers. Frightened, the child said, "I have to go home now. I'm getting late." But Sam smiled and replied, "Why are you in such a hurry to go home? We still need to prepare dinner and dine together." And with those chilling words, the movie came to an end. Let us know in the comments how you felt about this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it too. Thank you for watching.